Today, we are going to be talking about something a little bit more topical, probably for the time that we're recording this. It is currently mid-October, and things are starting to ramp up for our clients and for ourselves, noticing that too. We've been indoctrinated in the September as the year starts, so oftentimes this period can feel a little bit activating. So we wanted to chat about that. But before I begin, just wanted to do a check-in of where we are and an image description for folks who might be needing that information. So this is Abby speaking. I am an East Asian femme with long, dark, wavy hair that you can't see because I'm also wearing a black top. It's a half zip sweatshirt, and I'm sitting in a dark green room with a shadow of a dinosaur to my right. And there is a light behind me, a couch with an orange cushion, a throw that my dog has ripped up, and a nightstand with some decor on top. Today I'm calling from the unceded and ancestral territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, Tsleil-Waututh, Stalo, Coquite, and Coquitlam nations, known as Coquitlam. Do we want to do a check-in around just to check in on your where you're calling from, visual description? Who wants to go first?
I'll go first. Yay. Hi, I'm Juliana. Description of me. I am also an East Asian cisgender woman. I have a dark green with white deer and flowers blanket thrown on top of me, wearing a blue and white strip top. Behind me is a couch with a manta ray plushie and another filter to my right. Left is a window, longish black hair. I'm coming from Burnaby, which is on the traditional unceded territories of the Coquitlam, Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh nations.
I can go. Hi, everyone. I'm Sarada or Sarada, and I am a South Asian woman, and I have very dark brown hair, but I think it just looks black. It's curly, and I'm wearing this kind of like lightish purpley browny sweater turtleneck. I'm in like a cream colored corner, which kind of suits because this is the cozy corner, right? And there's a shelf to my right, and there is a painting right behind me that has some kind of abstract, different tones of green, leaves and stems and things like that. And I'm joining today from the unceded and ancestral lands of the Squamish, Tsleil-Waututh, Musqueam, and Stolo nations.
The screen lit up, so I'm gonna go for it. Hi, I'm Jess. Oh, I guess we can also do pronouns as well.
Yeah.
So I use she, her pronouns. I'm a white cisgender, or I guess you can also say cisqueer woman. And description. I have very white walls behind me, except for a colorful painting that I occasionally take down and add to, which is to my right. And then on the other side, just more space for hopefully more art. And then I'm wearing a black shirt and I have, I guess, like long curly brown hair. And I'm calling today from the ancestral and unceded territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh and Coquitlam nations of the Coast Salish people.
Right. And I guess I'm the last one to go. I'm Parveen. My pronouns are she, her. I am a South Asian cis het woman. I'm wearing a, don't know what you call this color, like mustardy slash burnt orange color sweater, like somewhere between mustard yellow and burnt orange sweater. I have straight hair with some short layers in the front, black hair. And I'm sitting in front of a dark green wall with some floating bookshelves with some books and plants and photos on them, and then white cream couch with a couple of brown cushions and a lamp. And I'm calling from Vancouver on the unceded ancestral lands of the Musqueam, Squamish, Stolo, and Tsleil-Waututh nations.
Awesome. Diving into our topic today, which is all about getting into busier times, busier seasons, how do we continue to stay well or avoid burnout or manage stress? What are some things that you've noticed working with folks who might be going through this, or maybe some pieces coming up for you that you wish everybody knew about? Anything that often comes up in your sessions that would be really helpful for folks to hear?
It's definitely coming up a lot in sessions recently. A lot of clients are struggling with feeling burnt out or feeling like spread pretty thin. Yeah, I feel like that's partially it's like the time of the year, like transitional period. A lot of people, whether they are in school or balancing school and work, or just around this time of the year when things do feel like they're starting or picking up, it's like very common. People who are feeling that are not alone in that. And I think a common kind of misconception or idea that comes up in my sessions with clients, at least, is like slowing down is not okay. If I slow down or if I take breaks, like I'm gonna fall behind or there's like too much to do. So I have to stay on top of it. And if I slow down or if I take breaks, then I'm like, that's gonna somehow throw things off and I'm not gonna get back into the groove of things and I'm just gonna stop being productive. So that's definitely coming up a lot and something that I work on a lot with clients or that comes up in our sessions is like the more and more we like power through that burnout, the more we're like pushing ourselves towards really burning out and then not having the capacity to do all of the things that are happening. So it feels like counterintuitive to be like, I need to slow down when there's so much going on, but really slowing down and like taking more breaks and like taking care of yourself, checking in with like your body. I need rest or I need time to recuperate or like I just my brain is shutting down and I don't want to be doing this paper or whatever it is. Listening to that and actually letting yourself slow down helps so much more in the long run rather than I just need to push through it and then wait until I'm done everything to like let myself take a break. So that's something that I would want to give as a piece of advice to people. I definitely struggled with that myself a lot when I was in school, was like that perfectionism and I'm not allowed to take a break until I finish reading this much or finish writing this portion of the chapter. But I would just be staring at the screen, not productive at all because I would be so tired or so hungry. And then once I started being like, maybe I should actually let myself grab a snack or maybe I should step away for a bit, that helps me be so much more productive or recharged rather than forcing myself to wait until I was done.
It's like driving into the skid. It feels counterintuitive when you have a lot going on, but you are not a machine. And even machines like start wearing down after you've pushed it for too long.
Isn't there a really cool art installation where they have this hydraulic arm that pushes, that like just keeps moving? But the artists who made it, they actually made a little flaw in their hydraulic system. And so it's slowly leaking hydraulic fluid, but it keeps working as time goes on. And you can observe it as time goes on. It becomes slower, creakier. You can really see it starting to break down. And it just keeps pushing this fluid. And this fluid is the hydraulic fluid that goes back into the pumps, that goes back into the machine. But yeah, it's a pretty gruesome picture because the hydraulic fluid is like a rusty red brown color that looks a little like blood. But it basically paints the picture of you're not supposed to work continuously like this. There's this idea that we have to be able to sit for 8 hours straight and just work, and that's productive and that's good. And there's so much research saying that you shouldn't be sedentary. That's actually really bad for you. You need breaks. Your brain isn't meant to be multitasking. And even on its singular task, it need break. Otherwise, your brain just goes, I'm tired looking at this the same time over and over again. I'm going to stop now. I don't, it's just this weird assumption that we are somehow machines. You keep going and keep going. And if you can't, there's something wrong with you, or you need to work harder, or just push through. Praveen said, it's like you have to wonder, like, where does this come from?
That made me think a lot about uncovering where the expectations are from, like that in session is also, and even out of session in conversation with like people in your life, just to build more conversation around like rest just generally, so that you, if it's just yourself and then you have everyone around you working at that same pace and not acknowledging rest, then it can be even more difficult to lean into that or to grab at those things that are going to be what you need to recharge with. So I think that in sessions, just even having those conversations around what is your relationship like with rest right now, or where do you go to rest in your day-to-day life? And then they start thinking about who they might rest with or where they feel like they can actually do that. And oftentimes, a lot of like expectations come up that have already been named to keep going, keep pushing, and not ever take that break, or you feel really guilty when you take that break, which is even worse because then you can't rest during the break.
Yeah, it's like a self-fulfilling cycle, right? Those expectations that get put on us end up keeping us from really being able to truly lean into the rest, especially if it feels like it has to be justified, that it has to be earned. And echoing your question, Juliana, of where does that come from, right? Where does it not come from? I can think of so many examples of how we've been taught to do that, or been taught that our identity and our worth is tied to that.
Yeah, I feel like I really resonate, Jess, with what you said about checking in with people about their relationship with rest, because I think that can even uncover a lot of what might be needed in order to allow oneself to rest. Like I find conversations about rest usually end up landing on things around what needs to happen to give yourself permission to rest, because sometimes even rest has become this like thing that in certain spaces, like there's like expectations about what it looks like or what counts as rest, and then people will engage in these activities and be like, I didn't feel restful, I just felt like I was waiting for it to be over. Or so yeah, having that conversation about what it is for people and opening up the possibilities of what rest could look like, starting with a conversation about just like what is your current beliefs and what's your current standing with rest? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like having a conversation with it.
Yeah, and I think something that comes up for me, and again, a lot of times in sessions with what you were saying, Sarda, is I think, yeah, there's a lot of these images that people have in their minds or like ideas we have of like self-care and like what qualifies as self-care. So I took a bath and I did a face mask and whatever, and I didn't feel better. And I think the way that I like to frame it is like that rest or self-care or recharging or whatever you want to call it is about like filling your cup back up. Or if you're like a car and your tank is on empty, like what do you need to fill it back up? And so that can look really different on different days. And sometimes the same thing that is restful or recharging on one day isn't on another day. So if I'm like super feeling isolated and that's draining me emotionally, then maybe hanging out with people and socializing or calling somebody or feeling connected to community might be the thing that recharges me. But if I'm like so drained from having conversations with people, that might be something that like depletes me more because I can't even make conversation right now. I can't think of words and that would take up too much energy. So that wouldn't be restful. Or yeah, with reading or something, sometimes that's very helpful as like an escape or something where I'm like, I just want to shut off my own thoughts and go into a book and read something. And other times it might be like, I just want to watch a show where I don't have to use my brain to read the words on the page or focus on something too much and I can just have background noise and just lie there. So I think that's also something when thinking about what rest can look like is it can look very different day to day. And it's about checking in with your body of what do I need right now to feel supported or to feel recharged.
You saying that makes me think of like the difference between self-care versus self-honoring. I think self-care is such a commercialized way of understanding our relationship with ourselves. Oh, you're tired, take a bubble bath or buy some candles. But like the way that you're speaking about it is more like, what is it that, where am I at right now? And like, how do I give myself what I need and honor that I deserve to have those things? Or honor that I am worthy of whatever care that I can give to myself depending on where I'm at.
That's a good distinction because there's an intentionality, right? It's a difference between, oh, I fed myself versus I made myself a meal. Like one could be just be like, I fed myself with canned baked beans. Nothing wrong with canned baked beans if that's your thing. Versus, oh, I decided to make myself a really nice meal. Like it's a cold day and I feel like having this really thick hot soup, so I'm gonna make it and then take my time enjoying it and eating it. It's suddenly different. You're not just feeding yourself. Suddenly that food is somehow more nourishing, not just physically,
Mhm.
but on a emotional, maybe even spiritual level.
Yeah. You have a relationship with it in a different way. Yeah. It's not, let me feed myself so I'm full and can continue to work. It's, let me just slow down and be.
Joy, delight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And I like that example, Juliana, because it's also highlights like it doesn't have to be something like out of the ordinary or something that you like it, even tasks that you're planning to do anyways can look very different and feel very different depending on like your intention behind it or like how you go about it. So, like Abby said, if you're just like, I just need to hurry up and make something and eat and then get back to whatever I was doing because it's just a means to being more productive, that's different than I'm gonna make something that I'm like really in the mood for and I'm gonna take my time to sit and actually let myself slow down while I'm doing this rather than get through it as quickly as possible.
I feel like some words coming to my mind are like noticing and awareness are sometimes a part of this navigating through like maybe high pressure times or like almost burnout times, but also needing rest. Sometimes viewing it through a lens of what rest do I need to add can feel like it's just another thing on the plate. And so, like, sometimes it can also be about noticing what are the moments and pockets of like my day where I am noticing how my body feels, or I am settling, or I notice my feet on the ground, or I enjoy a moment, or that could be people's morning coffee, or when they're getting out of bed and they notice they have a little wiggle or a stretch and they're like, ah, I did something. Just adding a bit of an observer lens to your life just to notice what is there, because I think sometimes the stressful burnout-y times can also create this kind of fog where it paints everything in this high stress, pressure, burnout way, even though there probably are little pockets where there's a laugh or a sigh or a stretch or something. From what like Praveen and Juliana said, I was reminded of sometimes it's not really about adding another task, but maybe adding a different lens.
Mm. I love that word pocket. As you were saying, Sarda, I was like, oh, it's like pockets of intentional rest. And as you were naming like laughter or stretch or a moment, going back to the element of like self-care or like self-honoring, I think also thinking about rest with others and what that looks like, and if that laugh is shared with another or stretch is shared with another or something that's more, I guess, relational because I think there's also a feeling that rest needs to happen on our own, that we need to go off and do it and come back when we're ready. But I think rest can be so much more healing, and it has been so much more healing for many communities in that way, where it's with others that are all intentionally doing that together. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. As you said that, I had an image of my dog does these like stretches when she sees me. She's just like a full body, like downward dog. Is that where that came from? Anyway, I digress. I digress. But and I'm like, oh, why don't we stretch together? Like, every time she does that, maybe I should do that too. And then also it reminds me of the meme. I don't know if folks have seen this, but when you've had a really stressful day at work, but you don't smoke, and then that's like the setup to it, and then you just see a group of people blowing bubbles together in
Yeah.
the alleyway where people usually are smoking or something, right?
You.
Thinking about that, I think that kind of combines what you were saying, Sarada, with what you were saying, Jess, about what are the moments that you already have and people, and what are the creative ways that we can infuse some lightness to it. Because rest is not always just sleeping or taking a bath or reading or whatever either, right? There's so many different kinds of rest.
Yeah, I think like recognizing that rest does not always mean stillness is also very important because there are different nervous systems that people live in and flow within. And so, again, if there's this view of like it needs to look a certain way or you need to be able to do a certain thing, then it can very quickly become another thing that has a very specific pass or fail measurement to it. But yeah, if you're feeling like dancy or wiggly, maybe there's rest there. There definitely can be.
Yeah, and I think that's similar to what you said earlier too, Sarda, like it can feel like another thing added to the list. So if we're framing rest as this like you have to add it to your checklist, this is something that you have to make room for, or you're looking at it of like, how do I do it the right way? Then it's taking away from feeling restful because it just feels, oh, this is another thing that I have to do. This is another thing that I need to be productive on, or I need to get this out of the way rather than just, yeah, being more aware of when it's just naturally coming up or just shifting your awareness a bit to what's going on and how is it feeling for me. It doesn't have to be something I'm going out of my way to do. It can just be like taking a beat throughout the day with whatever is coming up. If it's like just stretching when you get out of bed, like you said, or like on your commute home, like taking a pause rather than just thinking about the laundry list of things you have to do when you get home.
Yeah. One of the examples that my clients have shared with me that I like the most is 3-minute cry parties followed by 30-second dance parties. And it's like realistically, it takes you 3 minutes and 30 seconds. But like you get to experience and be in yourself for that moment and acknowledge what's going on for you. So I'm curious about that. I'm curious if there are two things. Number one, if there's like the favorite ways that people have, creative ways that people have named for you that could help spark some imagination for folks. And the other curiosity is, what are some common objections to rest? Because we've been talking about rest, but like I know in my sessions, whenever I talk about it, there's always like a resistance to it, right? Is it possible to address some of the resistances that might be coming up for folks who are listening?
Think back to a really funny conversation with a client where we're talking about rest and how it's like a foxhole of sorts, different places that it can go to feel nourished and happy. And then one day they were saying how, oh, Juliana, I did all these things. I did this and I did that and I did this and I did that. I'm like, I'm not even rest. It's not, doesn't feel restful. What's going on? It's like, why is it not working? And then I'm just like, what? I don't know about you, but I'm already feeling really anxious hearing you list all the things you had to do. And we had to take a step back and look at what happened. And what came out was this feeling that I need to do all these things to feel restful, but there was still no connection. And then when I asked them, like, okay, if we were to redo that day and you get to just pick based on what you feel you're needing, what would you do? And they're like, I just want to sleep for 8 hours and just wake up and then eat some takeout and watch my favorite K drama. I'm like, that sounds great. Can we do that? Can we do that? Or it's, I don't want to see anyone. I just want to go to a cafe and color and eat my croissant and drink my coffee, and then that's it. That's great. That they like why do you feel like you have to then yeah, that's great. Why don't we do that? And then also asking them like, why do you feel to do all this laundry list of things? And it's this idea that I have to do rest perfectly. I have to do rest productively. It's if I like mark myself on resting, I need to be an A plus kind of thing.
Mm.
And I thought that's really funny. So do you have someone beside you when you go to sleep being like, oh, you didn't go into REM sleep deep enough. You need to do that again. You have someone doing that with you. And we had a good laugh, but it's like kind of thinking about, do we have this idea that rest needs to be done in this perfect, exact way where if someone was standing beside our bed, this is creepy, if someone is standing beside our bed and marking us on our sleep, when we pass,
That
absurd
reminded
and
me of
creepy
Santa
and
Claus.
weird.
Yeah, yeah, it's very
And
creepy.
yet, yeah.
That
So
reminded you of Santa Claus? Is that what
Yeah.
you
when you're sleeping,
I was trying to
he
hear
sees
what
when
you're
you're awake.
Okay, so Santa Claus has never brought me any presents because as a kid, when my parents explained to me the concept, I was like, who the fuck is this dude coming? Sorry, I don't know. We're swearing in this podcast. I
No,
just
it's
made an
fair. No, that's
executive.
a very fair thing. It's like the
Like,
chimney is tiny. So you're telling me this dude is going to squeeze his stuff, other people's stuff, my stuff down this chimney and not break it? If he breaks it, who pays for that?
Yeah. Also, I lived in an apartment. I didn't have a chimney. I was in an apartment in Hong Kong. So I was like, where is this chimney that he's gonna come down? And also, who is this creepy man that's gonna watch me when I'm sleeping
He's gonna eat all your cookies.
and
Like,
eat all my cookies?
He expects cookies.
yeah.
Exactly. What is going on here? I do not want this man in my house. And then, yeah, my parents had to tell me it was a lie and like,
okay,
because I
well,
was like freaking out. I was like on high alert. I'm like, who is this man? I would not go to sleep. I'm like holding like little like weapons. They're not
we did
weapons, but like
we
little
did a disclaimer at the beginning of the podcast about
about
yeah,
what? That
about
we spoiled that Santa Claus is
yeah.
not real.
Oh, shoot. Or on that, Easter Bunny's not real either. Tooth Fairy's not real. It's your parents. So.
Oh yeah.
We're just crushing dreams here, just crushing dreams.
The sooner we do that, the more productive we are.
You don't need Santa Claus. Rest is better.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe we can get Russ to come down the chimney.
Oh, that'd be so great. It's just this lovely, wonderful, I'm thinking like a grandma, and then she's like holding like some hot tea and a nice blanket that's lavender scented because why not? And it's endearing. Sit by me.
Oh, you have a much more wholesome imagination than I do. My mind immediately went to that's poison gas.
Well,
Okay.
now you know how to, I guess, kidnap me then. Just poison gas me that's lavender scented. And I'll be like, oh.
Okay, so if you're looking for a therapist who is wholesome and thinks of grandmas instead of poison gas, Juliana's your gal.
But also, if you want to talk about poison gas, we can also talk about that too. It's
Yeah.
fascinating. You should also put that out.
That should go on your bio. Anyway, I'm
No.
sorry I completely derailed us. Any other resistances to rest or creative ideas for rest that folks have in mind? Or any other thoughts about Santa Claus? Because I'm not alone in this, right? Santa
Mm.
Claus is creepy.
I said that song in particular is so creepy when you think about it. He sees you when you're sleeping, he knows when you're awake.
Yeah.
But putting Santa aside, I think at the beginning I brought up a couple of the things already, but I think some of the resistance that comes up for people who are so in this like productivity kind of mindset is that's gonna stop me from being productive. Or there's also like there's negative connotations around rest or like negative associations with rest and like self-care or self-honoring or whatever you want to call it. Or it's like I'm being lazy or I'm being selfish. And so I'm not allowed to do it because that's being lazy isn't a good thing or being selfish isn't a good thing. That comes up a lot.
Mm.
And If we want to call it being lazy or selfish, like for me, what comes up is what's wrong with being selfish sometimes and what's wrong with being lazy sometimes. Where did we come up with this idea that those things aren't okay? Like I know for myself, there's days where I'm like, I don't want to do anything. I just want to I can do my chores and stuff tomorrow. And today I just want to not do anything and just get to be completely restful and just relaxed and indulge in that. And I think that's okay to do.
Yeah, so it sounds like the exploration when that comes up is around like where did we learn that our worth is tied to productivity? And then going through and understanding where do we actually want our worth to be tied to so that this barrier to rest removes itself, that we will
Yeah.
actually be like, you know what, this is actually what I need right now. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for articulating my thoughts in such a
Yep.
concise, understandable way.
Jumping on that, even, it's like, where do we get the idea that rest is some sort of luxury that we don't deserve? Or it's just a luxury and not like an essential, like calcium or something. Like where where did we get the idea that rest is only deserving for a subset of people and not, yeah, it's not something that we all actually need to survive.
Yeah, and I think that like to that point, there's definitely like, I understand that for some people it does feel like unattainable luxury because unfortunately, like we this so much of this comes from capitalism, but we do have to work to pay rent and to take care of our families and to do all of these things. So like part of that is I have to work X amount of hours, sometimes work multiple jobs. And then maybe I come home and I have kids to take care of, or I have like other responsibilities. And so it can feel very like there's not enough hours in the day. Like, where am I supposed to bring in this rest when there's too much other stuff going on? Which I think is, yeah, another common thing that comes up, which is where I think it's important to bring it back to what Sarada was saying about like just finding those pockets of time or just noticing and being aware. Like it doesn't have to be this extra like big thing that we're adding into our day. It can feel daunting sometimes to be like, you need rest. Like, how am I supposed to make time for that? There's not enough time in my day to do that. So if it's just taking a few deep breaths while you're at work, or if it's like actually letting yourself enjoy your lunch break rather than just like rushing through lunch to get back to being productive.
Yeah. As you're saying that, I'm also thinking about like because there's so many demands placed on us individually, there literally is not enough time in the day to rest sometimes.
Yeah.
There's just so much that we're holding alone. And questioning, do we really have to hold it alone? Right? Like, it's so much easier. I don't cook, but I hear that it's so much easier to cook for like a bunch of people than it is to just cook for yourself. There is like a nourishing relational aspect to that. There is like, it's just, I don't know, nicer. I guess folks who cook can chime in and be like, why is it nicer? I'm just speaking out of my ass at this point. I don't, the closest thing to me cooking is me putting a pizza pocket in the microwaves. Regardless of if it's just for me or somebody else, it's the same thing for me. Anyway, I digress. The point is, there are so many things that we can do together that we don't do together that increases our loads that we individually have to hold. And then also, like, it increases the amount of money that we need to have. It increases like all the demands that we have because we're so siloed. And because of capitalism and all of these demands, it's really hard to build relationships too that can share that load. So it's this like double bind of keeping you stuck in this cycle, which I think ultimately just gets us to work more because we feel like we need more for our needs to be met. And so I think about like how do we break that cycle? What is the point where we can actually have control to break that cycle? And that in itself can be rest, and looking at the system of why you're feeling stressed and why you're burning out can be illuminating, right? Can create pathways for you to make some shifts and changes.
That makes me think about how sometimes naming the fact that there is like this external voice that can come in and make it this task or make it this pass fail thing, even just naming that and having space to question that of who is measuring this, because no one is there standing by your bed like Juliana said. But sometimes it takes like naming it. These are things we can internalize, but when you remind yourself like, oh, I'm not being measured. This is something that I'm doing for myself and the intentionality behind it and reconnecting to that. Like, even that can provide a little bit of breathing room or space. At least that's what I found in conversations I've had with people. Yeah, it's just like adding a bit of space to name those things. And if there is capacity to question some of it, yeah, it can be really helpful to then make space for your needs to like have a voice and be heard.
Don't do it alone. Why not do it with a friend? I think some of my best resting moments is cooking with a friend, or we're making dinner before we watch a show together, or just I'm cleaning with a friend and we put on like each other's music and we're like just bopping while we clean. Or it's okay, it's fine. I'm helping you clean. So which tasks you don't want to do and I can do. Cool. I'll do the dishes. I'll clean this thing and you can tackle that thing. And then afterwards you're like, oh, that felt really nice. So I think community has a big part in this resistance against the need for perfect productive rest.
Yeah, community that's not somebody creepily watching you.
Yeah. That's the takeaway.
Yeah.
Stop coming back to the
I was like, Juliana,
I was like, such a nice way to wrap it up. And Juliana, like, this nice thing. And then Abby's like, let me make it creepy again.
That's fun.
Yeah. Rest as resistance.
Yes. And
Yeah.
it's so much fun when you do that.
Instead of having resistance to rest.
Okay, cool. On that note, this is something that we might touch upon again, and because it seems like there's more to talk about in terms of what is rest as resistance and things like that. But thank you so much for joining us. We're so excited to share some thoughts with you. And I'm thinking next time maybe we can talk about like connection and building connection or isolation. Because another theme along this lines, now that we've landed on community that I've noticed in my work is adult friendships are hard. And so, what does it look like to navigate adult friendships? What does it look like to navigate connection? What is connection? Those questions might be useful for us to ponder about. Sound good?
Sounds good.
All right, we'll see you in the next one.